Do me a favor, Caitlin. I'm going to have you name any card you see. This is unlike the other card tricks. You get to name it out loud. Just any card you see.
Ace of Hearts.
The Ace of Hearts. That's perfect. And I'm going to have you write your name real big on the face of the Ace of Hearts for me, so we know it's the only card like that in the world. All right? You can just leave it on the packet. That's fine. And just sign it real big. Perfect. Mark it up. Now I'm going to kind of back up so everybody can see this, but whatever you do, don't take your eyes off that card, all right? Watch.
Oh my God.
Oh, man.
Oh yeah, dude.
Now, if I were a really good magician, I could put these pieces back together. I'm not that good. If I were a professional welder, I could weld these pieces back together. I need a small propane torch of some sort. Did anybody bring a... I did. I did.
What?
Check this out. All we have to do is heat up these pieces just a little bit. Now, whatever you do, don't want those pieces to catch on fire. If that happens, it's... Oh. It's okay.
Controlled fire, that's all we need.
One solid piece of playing card. You can check that. It really is one piece.
Crazy.
Very cool.
That's so crazy.
Dude, that's sick, dude. Yeah, man. Let me drink here. Oh, yeah.
Cheers to that.
Oh, gracias. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Dude, that was awesome, dude.
No, you were awesome.
Hell
Thank
yes.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I think there's another 8 of diamonds like that. I want you to sign your name on the face of it real big, okay?
Okay.
Perfect. Your card, your name. Watch close.
Oh my gosh, I'm so nervous.
Now, for a really good magician, I could put these pieces back together. I'm not that good, though. In order to do it, I would need a heat source, like a propane torch of some sort. Did anybody bring a propane torch? I did. Hold on. I think I got one. This is the Turbo Torch 2000. If you need heat, this is what you need. All I have to do is heat up the edges of these pieces a little bit. That should be about enough. Just give them a little massage here. One solid piece of coin. You check that out. It really is your name. It really is a solid card. You can pull on it, look at it.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
That's right. You can keep that as a souvenir, young lady. Thank you guys so much for helping. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. You'll have a nice night. Enjoy your night out. I'm going to have you help me out, Mikey. I don't want you to think you take a specific card, so I'm going to have you name any card you see.
Ace.
The Ace of Diamonds or the Ace of Hearts? Ace of Diamonds. Perfect. I want you to do me a favor, Mike. I want you to write your name real big on the face of the Ace of Diamonds. That way you know there's no other card like that in the entire world, all right? Perfect. Get rid of the marker. Get rid of the rest of the cards. Here we go. One card, two hands, and a little bit of luck. Don't take your eyes off this card. Watch. Now, for a really good magician, I could put these pieces back together. Unfortunately, I'm not. I would need a small propane torch of some sort. Did anybody bring a small propane torch? I did. That's okay. No, I got it. I got a light over work, but that's fine. Got one right here. This is the Turbo Torch 2000. If you need heat, this is what you need. All you have to do is heat up the edges of these pieces. little blow to cool it off. One solid piece of playing card. Completely healed, completely restored. You can check that out. It really is your card, really is your name. Pull and tug on it. Make sure it really is a single card. I love it. Now, if I were a really good magician, I could put these pieces back together. I'm not that good. I could do it, but I would need some kind of fire, like propane settling torch of some sort. Does anybody have a propane settling torch of some sort? Oh, I got a lighter too. Hold on, no, mine's a little nicer. Check this out. This is the this is the Turbo. This is the Turbo Torch 2000, also known as the crackhead lighter. Yeah, absolutely. All you have to do is heat up the edges of the card a little bit. Now, whatever you do, you don't want those pieces to catch on fire. That's bad. One solid piece of playing card. Completely healed, completely restored. No, you can't touch it. Of course you can touch it. Of course you can touch it. Really is.
Okay, you signed this.
What? But you ripped it up.
I am flabbergasted.
That's awesome. There you go. Keep that as a souvenir, guys. Thanks for helping us out. You guys have a nice
Can
night.
you do that to my love life? Can you like rip it and put it back together?
Only the ripping part. Trick with a deck of playing cards. If you would, name any card you see there. The 4 of diamonds. Perfect. I'm going to get you to sign your name real big on the face of the 4 of diamonds. Here we go. 1 card, 2 hands, and a little bit of luck. Whatever you do, don't take your name off or your eyes off your name sleeve. Here we go. Four separate and individual pieces. Now, if I'm a really good magician, I could put these pieces back together. If I were a welder, I could weld them back together. I'd need a small propane torch of some sort. Oh, here, I've got one here. This is the Turbo Torch 2000. All you have to do is add a little bit of heat here. Now, whatever you do, you don't want the card to catch on fire. If the card were to catch on fire, it's not quite as good. A little blow to cool it off. One solid piece of playing card. Completely healed, completely restored, completely examinable. So this is Torched and Restored, my variation of the Torn and Restored card plot. When I originally set out to create a Torn and Restored card, I put all the emphasis on the tearing sequence. I wanted a tearing sequence was extremely deceptive. I felt like if we had a Torn and Restored card, but the tearing sequence wasn't deceptive, we didn't have much of a plot. So I really applied most of my thought and working on making the tearing sequence as deceptive as possible. And it's pretty nice. It's actually based on gimmicked cards. These cards have been put together in gimmick. So at the beginning, I have someone freely name any of these cards. I can do that because all of those cards are gimmicked and prepared. We'll talk about how those have been prepared in just a moment. But when they name the playing card, they name the 5 of hearts, I cut it to the face of the pack, then I have them sign their name across the face of the card. This thing gives us the signed card. Now let's look at how the gimmick is made and how I prepare these. This is a gimmick. It is essentially a double lift. Okay? But these double lifts have been taped together. So I'm using Scotch brand double stick tape, and I'm applying that here in the corner. So here in the corner of the card, I have 2 pieces of Scotch tape, double stick tape, that have been applied to the card, about 3/4 to an inch long, and it's 1/2 inch wide. It is the permanent variety. It comes in a yellow package. It's called permanent double stick tape. When you put it on, the first thing you do is stick it onto these 2 corners. That's the indexed corner, and then you take your thumb and you just kind of get the tack out of it a little bit. Okay, that's important because at the end of the trick, it ensures that the tape remains stuck to the 5 of hearts, the duplicate 5, not the signed 5. Okay, so once we've kind of made that tape less tacky and it's going to stick onto the correct card, we then take the duplicate 5 of hearts, put it onto the face, square it up, and give it a good squeeze. That is now the manufactured gimmick. I also turn the card over, and on the back here, I mark the corners on the end of the card that will open. So the tape is on the opposite corner. The tape is actually down here in this corner. Okay? But I'm marking the other end of the part that'll open. That just helps me during orientation when I go to do the folding sequence, because I'm able to tell exactly which end of the card will open. So that's the marking there. That's kind of been emphasized just so you can see it. I do make the marking fairly large, though, because I want to be able to see it when I'm in a dark situation. If I'm in a restaurant or a walk-around event, it's sometimes dimly lit in there, so I want to make sure that's marked extremely well. So now I have this playing card. Then I make up, before I go out for the night, I make up 15 or 20 of these. I put them in a box. On the box I write the words old cards, and then when I'm ready to do this trick, I say, oh, let me show you something with some old cards. I take out the box, I take out these cards, and that seems to make sense. I have the spectator name the card that they want. When they do that, so they name the 5 of hearts. I cut the 5 of hearts to the face of the deck. I don't hand them the single card because it is thick and it is a little, it is the gimmick. So instead I cut it to the face, I hand them everything, and they're holding everything when they sign the card. That just ensures that they don't feel the extra thickness or that weirdness that is that extra 5 of hearts, right? So then they sign the card, I put away the rest of the cards, and I start with this gimmick card, which is now ready to do the trick. It's important at this point that they realize that I only have a single playing card, so I always like to do the boomerang card toss here. I say one hand or 2 hands, 1 card, and a little bit of luck. Whatever you do, don't take your eyes off that card. This is also important because the tearing sequence is so clean in this trick that I want to make sure that they don't think they missed something. So I want to make sure don't take your eyes off your signed card, because in a moment I'm going to switch the card pretty cleanly. I want to make sure that they don't miss that fact, right? So as we're here, I'm going to fold the card down forward, and as soon as I fold it back up, it's been switched. Okay? You're now looking at the back of the duplicate card, and the signed card is already starting to be folded. Okay? Then I'm going to fold it up. I'm going to fold it across the other way. And now it looks like I've just folded the card in quarters and then folded it, but I've already made a little packet out of the signed card behind everything. So this is the folding sequence in real time from the front, so you can kind of see how clean this is. It really is a deceptive switch. So I fold down 1 layer of playing card again. I've underfolded that in the rear to give me more coverage. I fold up 1 layer. I again fold to the side. I unfold, and now that's created this packet in the back. Again, I've got this little edge here and an edge on the bottom. The only thing that needs to be covered as far as angles go is this corner right here. This edge can flash. 2 fingers can now cover up that edge. And then if you knock this card back a little bit, then 2 fingers can cover up that other edge as well. Or if you kick that back, it just increases your angles. If you have this out here, sometimes that packet will flash on this side. By knocking it back just a little bit, and improves your angles tremendously. You can do this almost entirely surrounded now. If you are entirely surrounded, the only tip is to pull the card a little closer to your chest. And now the only people that can see that packet are people that are literally over your shoulder. You're pretty good from, almost 180 degrees on this, just by pulling your hands into your body a little bit when you do the tearing sequence. So now we're in this situation. We've essentially switched in a duplicate card for the signed card, which is now hidden in a packet in this corner. Now we're going to start the tearing sequence. When we tear the card, we're going to tear down the card this way, and then near the middle, we're going to tear back at an angle like that. Okay? This is going to, again, create cover for us when we get to the point of trying to make them look like individual pieces. So as we're here, we grab the card and start to tear down, and then we tear back at an angle to give us that coverage. Okay? And I kind of missed that one. I should have torn out a little bit further than that. You can see where I was trying to tear, but missed that one a little bit. But that's okay. I tear here, and now if I push this in, that again gives us that coverage that we were talking about earlier. Okay, just by bending that corner back, it's going to give us the coverage that we need right here on that side. So now the card's been torn in half once. I place these pieces on top, turn everything vertically, tear the card again. Again, tearing with a bit of edge of coverage there. About an 1/8 or a 1/16 of an inch of card now is still above and beyond there. So when I'm in this position and I squiggle the pieces look very clean because this one piece that is kind of bulky only has one bad angle. I keep it moving a little bit. It's also behind the other piece. And then these edges are kind of hidden. So as soon as I tear down from there, I just give it a little squiggle. Sometimes I'll have a tendency to, once I'm squiggling it, to take the cleaner pieces forward. I just think it gives you this nice depth perception thing where you come forward with what are clearly clean pieces as you're there before you squiggle these around and put those pieces back on top. So that's the entire folding and tearing sequence. Now we're left in this position. We have the real signed card with an extra piece on it. We have 3 pieces that are actually pieces from the duplicate. Now we're going to ditch these 3 pieces from the duplicate into our pocket as we go to get the lighter. So the lighter is in our right front pocket. And first we'll talk about the technique, and then we'll talk a little bit about the misdirection. The technique is essentially this. We're going to place the cards into right-hand finger palm. Then we're going to block push off everything that'll move. That's going to take the folded card as well as the extra piece taped to it up to fingertips, As this hand takes these pieces, again, leaving your thumb on them, don't think about it like palming, but leaving your thumb on them, goes directly into your pocket to pull it out. The reason I think it's important that you not think about it as palming is a lot of people will do this, they'll do the move, and then they'll try to do some funky palm subtlety thing. That's not what you do at all. You steal the pieces, and then you immediately go down into your pocket. Okay, that's the 3 pieces. Now let's talk about the misdirection that's happening there. We've just done the squiggle. We put the pieces back together. I take my hand and I pat this pocket, my right pocket. When I do that, I look down at my right pocket. I come back up, I place the cards into finger palm, and as soon as my hand hits my left pocket to pat it, I'm going to do the block push-off. Okay? Let's do that again. We're here, pat my right pocket, I look across my body. As I'm patting my left pocket, I push the pieces out. I come back up, I make direct eye contact with the audience. Then I go to get the lighter. The moment that I go to get the lighter, I'm taking those 3 extra pieces away into my pocket. So in real time, that's going to look like this. I've got a lighter here somewhere in my pocket. Here, let me get that. And as soon as you make eye contact, they'll look up at you. So they'll miss that steal as you reach in your pocket and pull out the lighter. You can use any kind of lighter that you want. The only kind of thing I would say is that you want to get a lighter that's interesting. Because when you take your hand out of your pocket, you want to be able to show the lighter in your hand and allow them to see your hand empty. You don't necessarily want to take the lighter out and say, oh look, and there's nothing in my hand. But when you take the lighter out and you go, this is the Turbo Torch 2000, and it's a neat, interesting article, they'll naturally see that your hand is empty, so they know that you haven't gotten any extra pieces or that you haven't done anything sneaky. Then you've got the ability now to honestly burn what is everything that's left on that card. So that big piece there on the side you can burn. You can burn across the entire top. You're burning that extra piece. Because remember, the situation we're in right now is the signed card with a piece of playing card still stuck on the back of it. So we can truly burn all of those pieces. So as we're here, that's really what I'm going to do. I'm going to set them on fire. I'm going to really let them burn. This is, again, in my mind, one of the cool things about the plot. The Tarian sequence at the beginning is very convincing. And also, at this point, right before the restoration, they're going to see flaming card pieces, right? They're still imagining that those are pieces. Another tip here is if you want, you can push up on the back, which kind of opens that card out. Okay, so now you see these kind of double pieces. It looks like more pieces. Now when they see it on fire, they'll remember seeing pieces on fire and smoldering. Now, it's really only the card that's been jogged that way, but it really honestly looks like pieces at that point. Take the lighter after you've started the flame. Don't put the lighter into your pocket, right? You don't want to go back into a dirty spot. So instead, hand the lighter to somebody, lay the lighter down onto the table. Again, make sure they see your hands empty here. We'll put that here. You come back up to this situation. Now we're ready to do the restoration. The restoration is actually Ben Harris's out of his Hoodwinked manuscript, which is a great version of the Torn and Restored card. Completely impromptu, and it's a fooler. If you don't know it, you should really check it out. But essentially, it's the ability to open the card quickly in a snapping motion. So we'll look at it. This is it. Okay. You do that as it's flaming. You kind of thrust the flaming piece towards your face as you blow it out, and open the card back up. I've been, I originally released this about 10 or 12 years ago, and when I did, I saw a lot of people perform it, and they just unfold the card. And that's not the trick. The trick isn't that you burn the card, tear a card, and then unfold it. It's just not as impressive. What you really want to do is look like it snaps back to reality. It pops. When you practice this, you'll get that pop, where that card's really kind of popping back into existence. So this is the restoration. So we have the folded card with the extra piece. That's the extra piece that's, at this point, it would normally still be smoldering or on fire. We're going to bend down a single layer of playing cards. So that's the non-indexed corner. We're going to grab that between our thumb and our first finger. That allows us to get our second finger in onto the indexed corner. So I'm grabbing this, going onto the indexed corner. I'm then going to take my third finger and clip that edge. And I say clip, but it's really just held in position there, so that if I snap these fingers with a normal finger snapping action, if I do that, it'll open the card up. Right? If I just grab one layer and I snap, the card's going to open up like this. That's the restoration. But what I do is put my third finger in the way to build tension. So as I'm pushing down on this card, you'll see that third finger build tension, so that when it pops, it really pops open. Boom. And that's what we're looking for. I do that as I'm coming back towards my mouth to blow on it. I come back and bang. That's where we're getting that pop or that snap. That's where, again, we're getting that illusion that when this card opens, it just opens forcefully, and it almost seems to magically appear there. It doesn't look like, again, what we're trying to avoid here is that I'm unfolding the card. We want it to look like bang. It's just popped back together. So that's the restoration. One more time, single layer of playing card, thumb and first finger, second finger onto the indexed corner, third finger around everything, so it's on the back side of everything. Start to push down, you'll feel it slip off the third finger. When you feel it slip off the third finger, just push. Boom. So now we're in this situation. We've just done the snap. The card has been opened. Now we have an extra piece that's hanging out on the back. We have to get rid of that. The worst thing you can do is steal it too soon. You do have to take that piece away, and when I see people do this poorly, as soon as they do the restoration, they want to steal the piece. And that's too early. You have to wait. I don't know how long to wait. It's just the downbeat, we like to call it. But at the moment that it happens and everybody starts to react, at some point they'll get comfortable with the moment and they'll start to look at each other and kind of have conversations amongst themselves about what's just happened. And that's the perfect time to steal the piece. The important part is right after it comes back, we can show that we're clean by tossing the card into the air and catching it. Because again, this is still taped onto the back. So even though we're dirty, we can create this really clean illusion that there are no extra pieces, right? They just saw 4 pieces, they just saw flames, boom, they see a full card, and now all of a sudden they see my hand's empty. Because the way this works, we actually have a cardiflage principle going here, so you can show both sides of the card. Because this piece is hidden. It's camouflaged into the rest of the card. So literally, you can show both sides of it. If anything, they'll see some burns on there, but that's okay. They just saw the card on fire. So you turn it over and show it a couple times. Again, don't overdo that. Now we're going to steal the piece off. As we steal the piece, all we're going to do is hold the card by these 2 corners. I fold it back into my palm. I put my thumb on it as I extend the card out this direction. That then propels the extra piece into finger palm. Okay? So in real time, that's like this. The extra piece is on the back. I've just thrown it into the air. I catch it. I say one completely solid piece. And now we're there. So this is the stealing of the last piece. We have the last piece hanging out here on the card. What we're going to do is hold the card by the upper 2 corners. We're going to fold it back into finger palm. And as you do, if you start to roll this card, you're going to see that it naturally starts to peel the tape off. So that rolling process is what's pulling that tape off. Your thumb then pushes onto the card, or onto the piece, and then pops out this direction, so that's what steals the piece. At the moment that it does that, you're going to give the card a little bit of noise. Sometimes when the tape comes off, depending on how tacky it is, it'll make a little bit of noise. And just, giving the card more noise and giving it a snap is what helps emphasize that. And you do that in the process of saying, look, it really is one solid piece of playing card. And now that's been hidden here. Okay? So again, all we're doing, rolling it back, putting my thumb on it, rolling it up to fingertips, pressing that corner. This is now finger palm. So when you steal the final piece, you do this move. A couple of important things to think about. When you roll the card back, you don't want to hide the whole card. You don't want to look like you put the entire card in your hand and then peel it out. What you're trying to do is create the illusion that the card never leaves their sight. And really it doesn't need to. It just needs to go that far before it comes back out and you do the steal. So what you want to work on there when you practice this in the mirror on video, what you want to work on is getting that card to stay in view as much as you can when you do that move. Now the stolen piece is here. And I'm able to come forward with that hand or the other hand and give them the signed card. This is now dirty, but the lighter's on the table or someone's holding it. So all I do after I've done the steal is drop my hand, pick up the lighter, I put the lighter away. As I put the lighter away, the extra piece goes away. Okay? So that's all we have to do is we're here, we do the steal, boom. We lay this down, I pick up the lighter, I put the lighter away, and now I'm entirely clean because as the lighter goes away, so does the extra piece. If you're doing this in a restaurant or in a stand-up situation, you'll have a spectator here on your side. Steve will be here. As you do the steal, you're going to come up to Steve and pat him on the back. And as you pat him on the back, this will literally stick right onto his shoulder. It's like an old hooked coin move. So you say, thanks for helping me out, Steve. I appreciate it. You pat him on the back, and as you do, you're showing him the signed card he signed. You're going to stick that onto his back. So now this is stuck literally onto the back of his jacket or his shoulder. You get to show your hands empty. Then you shake his hand, thank him for coming, pat him on the back again, and as you do, you're going to steal this piece off of his back. So literally, Steve's going to kind of become an instant holdout for you. We like to call that the Steve holdout. You just pat him on the shoulder, it sticks, let him examine the card, and then you're just going to steal it right back before you send him off. So there are a lot of interesting ways to get rid of this extra piece. The other thing that you can do, because it is sticky, when you steal the piece, you can naturally drop your hand down to your side and stick it right to your butt. Okay? So as your hand comes down, all you need to do is stick that here, and there goes the extra piece. You do that as you lean forward. So you steal the piece, you say, check that out, that's a real playing card. This gets pushed, now they take it. Now when they look back up, your hands are empty. You again pick the lighter up. As the lighter goes around into the pocket, you're going to steal the piece off your back pocket as you put the lighter into your pocket. And again, the key to that is just being comfortable. It's like anything. Don't run when you're not being chased. From the front, that's going to look like this. one completely examinable piece of playing card here. You can check that out if you like. It really is a playing card. So that's Torched and Restored. It is my variation of the Torn and Restored card. If I had one thing to say about it, what I will say and what people tell me when they see it is it's real world magic. This is magic that I've done for 15 years. I've done it in the real world. I've done it in restaurants. I've done it on the streets. I've done it in bars. It's not one of those kind of dream effects that you want to do, where you tear the card up individually and put the pieces together and all the angles are weird. And this is real world. This is magic that you're going to be able to do tomorrow. If you can fold a card and you can tear a card, you can do this trick. It really is that easy. And as I said earlier, what's really nice about it in my mind is that the tearing sequence is so convincing. If people aren't convinced that you really tore the card, then they're not going to be impressed by the effect, no matter how pretty the restorations are. So what I really set out to do was create a kind of deceptive or a believable tearing sequence, and I think that's where we got. It seems when you tear this card up, the spectator really has conviction that the card's been torn. So when it pops back into existence, you kind of get that moment of where they kind of feel like reality's just been shifted out from underneath of them. So I hope you guys enjoy it.